So you're looking at buying a brand new GoPro Hero 3 Plus, but wondering, hey, what's the difference between this new camera and the older Hero 3? Well, lucky for you, I've got a bit of a comparison review to show you today. First up, we're going to start with the external configurations of both cameras. Then we're going to get into some side-by-side footage. We're going to test out the Wi-Fi and also the battery life. First things first is the waterproof casing. Now, the waterproof casing of the Hero 3 actually goes down a little bit deeper than the Hero 3 Plus, 60 versus 40 meters. And the actual configuration of the casing has been changed between the old and the new cameras. As you can see on the older 3, it's obviously a lot more chunky. It had these really uncomfortable buttons to press. You could actually even tear some sort of skin here if you were going too fast and trying to press it really quickly because they're quite resistive. The ones on the 3 Plus, fortunately, are really nice to use, flat, bigger, and so much nicer. Of course, the casing is larger, as I said, on the 3, but even though the casing is different, you can actually interchange both cameras between each, because even though the casing has changed size, the actual configuration and the size of the physical cameras inside is the same. So, in terms of the waterproof latches and the casing itself, the 3 Plus, as you might remember, did a sort of unlocking configuration like so. Nice and simple, arrows told you exactly where to go. As you might have noticed, I have a bit of a band-aid on my left thumb, and this is because I'm totally uncoordinated and couldn't exactly work out how to get the casing off the Hero 3 Plus at first. It's a bit tricky. I think that it should be a little bit more simple than it is. But just for reference, I'm going to try and take it off now, and you can see how uncoordinated I really am on camera, which is quite a lot. So it's quite tough to get off. If you've got anything like fingernails, it's going to be a bit of a tough job here. Pull it up like so, and out it comes. As I mentioned before, both of the cameras are pretty much the same on the outside. We both have the same power buttons and record buttons, as well as the Wi-Fi buttons here on the side to turn the Wi-Fi on and off with. So, now we know about the external configurations of the Hero 3 and the Hero 3 Plus, let's take a look at some side-by-side footage. Decided to go for a bit of a drive around Sydney and see what these two cameras could produce in terms of both colours, exposure, and the general video and image quality. The Hero 3 Plus comes with something that's called Auto Low Light Mode. Now what this does is drops the frame rate depending on the ambient light conditions to get a better exposure. In this example, we were shooting at 1080 50p because we're on PAL. If you're on something like NTSC, you're going to be shooting at perhaps 1080 48p or any other variation of resolution and frame rate. GoPro claims that the Hero 3 Plus has a 30% better battery life than the Hero 3, so why not test this out for ourselves? Anecdotally, I found this was the case, but we're going to do it with a bit more science behind it. Here we have a computer screen, we've got a timer set up. What we're going to do is set both of the Hero 3 and the Hero 3 Plus up in front of it, set them to record and see which one runs out first. The Hero 3 Plus also comes with something that's called Super View. Now this is activated by default when you take the camera out of the box. You can turn it on and off if you so desire. It's something that the Hero 3 doesn't have. So what the Hero 3 Plus does is basically takes a 4:3 image and stretches it dynamically towards the edges of the frame to fill a 16:9 aspect ratio. Now this is good because you're basically getting all the information that you'd normally lose when you're shooting in a widescreen format. However, there is going to be a little bit of distortion towards the sides of the frame, so if you are going to be shooting something or someone in your shots on Super View, I suggest you put them in the center of the frame to avoid that distortion. Here's a bit of an idea of the extra field of view that Super View gives you. GoPro also claims that the Hero 3 Plus has 4 times faster Wi-Fi than the Hero 3. Let's see, in a pretty unscientific test, I must say, how fast each of them actually connects to the camera. So that's it for a side-by-side comparison of the Hero 3 Plus and the GoPro Hero 3. If you want to check out the full review of the Hero 3 Plus, you can find it on CNET. Catch you next time.